have just 1 minute before we start, because a lot of people to join right now.
Alexandra,
Hello.
excuse me.
Yeah.
How can I close this the window of message, because I don't see?
Do you see in the tools placed on the down of this window 3 dots?
No, I don't see.
It's like additional.
No, I don't see. Here.
Yep. And after you click to this additional 3 dots, you will have additional window.
No one. Hot and no, it's not that.
1 second. I sent you message, and now you will you see.
See.
Yep.
Hello.
See. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
I see your message, and I see the 3 dots.
Yeah, and
copy, delete. I want to close this window of message.
In the right side, you will see button close.
I start.
Yep. Everything great.
Thank
okay.
you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning for whom from USA or maybe Brazil. I'm really appreciate for your time and for your willingness to join to our meeting. And I want to invite our dear volunteer Laura, who joined to our speaking club last March or May, I guess, yeah. And after our general meeting for volunteers, he wrote me with idea to prepare this meeting about learning methodology. So, Laura.
Well, thank you, Alexandra. I'm so happy to be here with you and to share what we have been doing in the university. If I'm talking too fast or if you have any doubt or you do not understand something, just raise your hand and I will answer you or whatever. I will share with you. No. Let me see. Okay. So do you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, here it is, Bruce Albers. I guess most of you do not know about him. He is a very prestigious researcher in cell and molecular biology from the United States, and he has been for several years the editor of this textbook of cell biology that has been used all over the world just to teach cell biology. And he has been also the editor-in-chief of this prestigious journal, scientific journal Science. And he has been also the president of the National Academy of Science of the United States. some 20 years ago, more or less, he closed his lab of cell biology lab, and he devoted to education, to improve education in every level of education, from children's to university level. And in 2016, he came to our university, Universidad Nacional de Córdoba in Argentina. And in that occasion, our university gave him the title of Doctor Honoris Causa. And he gave a talk there, and he talked a lot about education, and which is a very strategy just to improve our nations. And at the end of his talking, someone in the audience asked him, "What can we do with a person that is working in the government to make to design policies about science and technology, but he is not a scientist? What can do?" And his answer was, "Nothing. You can do nothing with these people. So, but instead you must teach scientific thinking since kindergarten, because it is a powerful skill that will help a student to take decisions based on evidence along their life, independently of whoever they become in the future." So his message, even along his talk, was that scientific thinking must be taught since kindergarten or whatever, just saying, as sooner as better. So now I will tell you our story about the design and application of a teaching method based on scientific practice and cooperative learning that we apply at the university level, just to teach cell biology in students of the career of biologists, which was our context. We have been teaching before this change. We have been teaching during 20 years molecular cell biology to undergraduate students according to the traditional didactic method, what means that we impart long lectures. So it means that the student have a passive role during the lecture. We have laboratory practice, but just to illustrate some of the techniques mostly used in scientific research and cell biology, but without interconnection between them. The learning was individual. It means that each student studied by themselves. And the exams or assessment was based mainly on memory, and they have in the manner of multiple choice, because we have many students, so we try to develop this technique also to assess student learning. But we know that we were aware that scientific knowledge in science in general, but in particular in molecular cell biology, has exponentially increased along years. So the last 15 years has a very exponential increase. For instance, during 2023, for all these months, almost the whole years, around 40,000 papers have been published in molecular cell biology. So it's very difficult to learn this amount of knowledge. So the ability to comprehend scientific findings is more important than accumulated knowledge by memory. It means that it's much better that the student comprehend or have the ability to comprehend scientific findings, new scientific findings. Another thing that pedagogues already know is that traditional lecturing is not the most effective aid to learning, because here you have representing the percentage of memory retention after attending a lecture. For instance, 1 hour later, you lose 50% of the memory. So you do not remember 50% of the lecture you have attended this after 1 hour. And after one day, you retain only 20% or around 20% that will last more or less a long days. So this means that the attendance to lecture is not the most effective way to learn. Another thing that pedagogues also knows is that individual learning is poorly effective. So the student studying alone is less effective than studying in group. Another thing was that the multiple choice exams evaluate mostly memorization rather than critical thinking. So in this context, we diagnosed our student and we realized that our student did not retain nor integrate knowledge, were not responsible for their learning, and were afraid of or unable to understand new scientific knowledge. So the conclusion was that we need a change in teaching methods, learning strategies, and student assessment. The aim we have then was to prepare a student to acquire, to understand, and to communicate new scientific molecular cell biology knowledge. So we started to see some in the literature. When I mean the literature, I mean the literature on education research and the facts that we see in the literature, and according to these facts, which strategy we can choose just to teach our students. The facts is that scientific practice is the ability to think and work like a scientist. So we have to develop strategies just related to scientific experimental design, just to make a student to understand a single experiment. For instance, this is a single experiment, the results of a single experiment. They have to understand this kind of information. They have to develop the ability to analyze primary papers and the ability to analyze scientific news. That is a way to scientific knowledge is dispersed. Another fact is that active learning facilitates neuron stimulation, reinforces learning and long-term memory, and also construct knowledge based on previous concepts. So we need to replace lecture by active student learning. Another fact is that collective intelligence is higher than that of the most intelligent person in the group, and is associated with this social behavior. Then we need to replace individual learning by cooperative learning. I will tell you later what is cooperative learning. Another fact is that visual communication is an effective strategy in promoting student learning and assessing student scientific understanding. But what is visual communication? For those that does not know, it's the way we have to represent a concept or process by a drawing. For instance, here is represented the molecular cell biology process by a drawing. This visualization is so important that nowadays there are whole meetings. For instance, the Gordon Research meeting, Gordon Research Conference, only on visualization in science and education. That it was the program for 2023. We know also science is communicated through oral and written scientific literacy. So we have to develop the ability in students just to write a report of scientific lab practice, and also the ability to communicate scientific knowledge by oral presentation of a primary paper. Assessment based on the scientific training without mainly appealing to the memory, just to get this ability in the student, we design integrated midterm exam based on primary paper. I must say that these exams are the most time demanding for us just to design it, because we have to choose a scientific paper on the topics that the student must be assessed and design the midterm exams based on it. So, which is cooperative learning? The learning in groups, you have, there are several other techniques. We choose this one because we like it, the features, and it means that the students work face-to-face. There is a face-to-face interaction. They are interdependent, one each other. There is individual and group accountability. There is interpersonal and small group skills. The group is processing, it's self-processing, and this is very important. So each student have to have a different role. So some of them has to leader the group, so organize the group. Another have to record what they are doing. Another has to report, so it's the one that communicate with the professor and so. And another one have to control the time. This is very important because every activity we give them a precise timing. So they have to arrange the work of the group according to timing. And the role of the professor changed, and now becomes a facilitator, what means that the professor is it's on demand of the student. So a student asks them just for advice if they are if they are doing well, if they are getting information is correct or no, and so. And which is the way they work. First of all, they have to form a group up to 4 students. This is the number of students that is ideally the best number. Of course, it depends on the number of students that you have in the class. Maybe you may have a 5-student group or a 3-student group. It depends on the total number of students. But 4 is the best number to work in this dynamic of group. And they have to assign roles, as I told you here. Then they have to be sure, each member of the group, that they understand the activity they have to do. Then they have to identify what they know and what they do not know. And then they have to assign different tasks to each member of the group. They have a time just to search and study information they need to solve the activity. And once all of them have this finished, they teach each other what they learn. And then after that, they complete the activity. So the proposal we designed was based, as I told you, on scientific practice, cooperative learning, and a fair student assessment. The features they have the proposal is that there is explicit interconnection between activities. It means that we specifically design the connection between not only the activities they are going to perform during the classroom, a specific classroom, but also with previous class that they have. Another feature is that there is a progressive training in scientific interpretation. What it means, that it is a step-by-step progressive training. So it means that we started with very single experiments, scientific experiment. At the end of the course, we finish with the analysis of a primary paper that they have to do it by themselves. Another feature is that there is a progressive experience in applying the scientific method. This, they do it in the lab. So we have lab sessions that I will tell you later in 2 parts, that they apply the scientific method in all the steps. So from the hypothesis, the aims of the project, the experimental designs, they have to apply, get the results, extract the conclusions, and write the report. And the assessments was based on scientific training without appealing mainly to memory. This methodology was implemented in around 100 students per year that attended our course in the undergraduate level in the university from 2015 to 2018. And this is important because it was according to the education research methodology. We have in our university a Department of Education Research, and there are scientists in education that are very expert in this field. They are very prompt just to advise professors in the faculty just to do this kind of studies. So what was the design? So we divided the course in 3 parts. Part 1 and part 2, we developed the whole program of the subject of cell biology, and they have to perform these activities each week. They have to do a homework, a preparatory homework. It was very important because we realized that when we gave lecture, and by the time that we gave lecture to them, they arrived to the lecture without having even nothing, the title of the lecture. So we need them to read the textbook before coming to the classroom. And then for that, we give them a preparatory homework, we call this. It's a very short one with 5 items. But to solve it, they have to read the textbook. So the subject in the textbook. And they have complementary, they have 3 small, short 3 lectures about the subject, or each one of about 10 minutes. That 10 minutes is the ideal time that the student can attend to. More of that, they lose attention. So there are 3 small lectures that can listen whenever they want, because they are on the virtual classroom. And when they arrive to the classroom, they have to work in cooperative learning just to analyze one single experiment in groups, and other activities to analyze one single scientific news about a scientific publication concerning the same subject we are working to. And in parallel, in the same week, they have to attend the laboratory session just to perform this scientific method in the lab, and they perform it also in cooperative learning mode. The evaluation at the end of each part is by one individual written midterm exam. And this is important because we present them new information that they cannot have it in the textbook, because it is a recently published paper related to most of the subjects they have been studying. And so during the evaluation, they continue learning, because there is new information that they never knew it before the exam. So they have to integrate this new information with the previous one that they know, just to solve the exam. So this is a very important step in our teaching procedure. Once we finish assigning the marks of each midterm exam, we ask them to attend to a class for, we call it for right answer. So we tell them which was the expected right answer for each item, and they have their own exam in hands, so they can learn from their own mistake and also from the mistakes of the fellows. And also we request a written report about practical section per group of students. This, you remember that they were working in cooperative learning just here for the laboratory session, so they have to write one report per group. So once they finished part 1 and part 2, so they have the complete knowledge of the subject of cell biology, we then ask them for 3 weeks to analyze a whole primary paper in groups by cooperative learning. This primary paper, we choose it from researchers from our university. So this gives the possibility that the student can visit this lab. And this is a very exciting experience for them because they can know the real scientists and not just the name that is printed on the other sheet of the paper. They can know the lab, the office. For instance, they can see the microscope where the pictures they saw in the publication were taken. So it's a very interesting experience for the student also. And the evaluation of this stage is the oral presentation, just individual or per group, in the way of a symposium. So we evaluate the student performance in different ways. We evaluate according to the results of midterm exams. Here you have only the 2018. I will send you all the whole paper so you will see the other years that are similarly. And here is represented the percentage of the maximum score obtained. And here you have the kind of exam. So the first day they started the course, we give them a pre-exam. So with a similar way as the one that they have to do during the first and second midterm exam. And we evaluate several items related to concepts, several items related to interpretation of scientific knowledge, and several items related to integration of knowledge. And you can see that in all the cases, the pre-exam, the pre-test, we gave them to them. The level of the score was significantly lower before starting the course with us. And according to the conceptual items, there is a significant increase in the second one. So it means that the students are much more prepared to respond the conceptual items in the second midterm exams than in the first one. And the same, of course, about the interpretation items. And concerning the integration, once they got the ability to integrate concepts, this ability usually remains. And some years there is some increase, but more or less it remains like this. Concerning the written report, we evaluate the different sessions, introduction, materials and methods, results, conclusion, presentation, and more or less all the sessions were pretty well done by the students. This is data from the whole years for all the groups. And this is the result from the oral presentation of the primary paper in the weight of symposium. So we assign individual score for students and also for the group of students. These are the scores are also represented as percentage of the maximum score from different years here. And they have very pretty scores in this session also. We also ask about student opinion. At the end of each course, we give them a survey that it is related to all the activities they have been running with us during the course. And also we ask about cooperative learning technique. And in green is represented the opinion of students that like it, these activities. And in yellow is represented the student that like it more or less, and in red, the student that do not like it at all. Most of the items, most of the students like it, these activities, and we pay special attention to the scientific news activity that few students like this activity like it was. So we next perform another research just to see what was happening with this activity. I do not have time just to tell you about this right now, but we have a new research about that. And also we did further research about the primary paper. So that also I will not have time just to tell you right now, but I mention this because once you have results of the research, you can identify some activities or features of your proposal that may need some revision. And this revision is better if you perform an additional education research just to detect what was happening with it. Then we ask the student to mention the three most the three activities that they like it the most, and they like it very much the midterm exam. It happened to us every year that they finish the exam and they say, "Oh, professor, I don't know if I did it well or not, but I enjoy it a lot to perform this kind of exam." Also, they like it, the science laboratory practice, and also they like it, the analysis of a primary paper. Then we ask them to assign a mark to the course, and most of the students give an 8 from a scale from 0 to 10. So the conclusion of our study is that the new teaching and learning strategy improves conceptual acquisition, interpretation, and integration of scientific knowledge, besides oral and written skill for communication of scientific knowledge. We then publish these results in a journal that is written here. I don't know if you can see it pretty well. It's Biochemistry and Molecular Biology Education. It means that it is a journal of education of the specialty of cell biology. Why this is important? We were very happy because we were very trained in writing scientific literature papers, but about molecular cell biology, not in education. This was our first experience in publishing a paper in education. And why it is important? Because other people that is involved in education can have some ideas of what we have been doing or our experience in doing this. So I think this is an important step for the education community. So which is the message to take home? In my opinion, in our experience, I think it is worth a pity to design a teaching and learning method based on scientific thinking and group learning, but as sooner in the school level as better. So even though our experience is at the university level, I'm sure that you can teach your student your activity, design your activity based on scientific thinking and cooperative learning or just group learning, whatever the technique you choose or is convenient for you, and you can adapt this to your students. There are a lot of sites that I will later on copy in the message just for you to have it, but you can search for more of them. Of course, there are more of them, that you can have ideas of how to design activities for primary school, for kindergarten, for secondary school, just to stimulate scientific thinking in students. So thank you. I will wait, just a minute. So thank you for your attention. If you have any question or comments.
Yeah, of course, you are welcome to ask your questions or share some ideas. And of course, thank you, Lara, for your experience, for this material and very useful information.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I see Rosemary wants to say something. Yeah, Rosie.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Laura, for providing this training. This was really informative and just like really nice to, have a new teaching method in our toolbox. One thing I wanted to ask is, how do you recommend incorporating cooperative learning in an online environment? Do you suggest, have you found success with breakout rooms and breakout sessions, or you just have everyone online do the activity together? How can we do this in the terms of group work?
Yes, pandemia helped us to experience this. Because previous to pandemia, we do it in the classroom, the physical classroom. But during pandemia, we started to work, everything was in the virtual classroom. So with this platform, we have the possibility to make groups of students. So usually we present the activity in a PowerPoint, and then we set up the groups, and they join. Up to 4, 5 students, whatever. And then we have the possibility to visit each group.
Okay.
Each room. We go room for room, or they call us. Sometimes they call us. In the same platform, they have the possibility to send message. Please, professor, can you come to our group? And then you go there and they ask you on whatever. Now, it's very nice to do it in this way also.
Okay. And then I'm sorry. Do you have like a preferred platform for breakout groups like Google Classroom, or are you happy with Zoom, or what platform do you prefer?
To tell you the truth, I am all enough. And technology always has been a very effort demand. So I mean, it was difficult for me. I realized that younger professors in my group are more skillful with technology. So for me, it was much more difficult. So for sure, I could not do it by myself without them. So the young people that deal with this technology affairs and so on. So once you have this someone in the group that deals with these abilities of technology, I think you can do it pretty well. But in my opinion, from the emotional point of view, I think it's not the same to be face-to-face directly. It's much better to be face-to-face than virtually. But in any event, you can do it also.
Okay.
So,
all right, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we have also a question from Ken Zarechansky.
Yes, I've got a suggestion. It's in regard to the scientific articles. You can use Chat GPT. So in other words, if you have 2 articles, scientific articles, if you put them into Ask GPT to read the articles and repurpose them into one article with the purpose that you want to portray to the students, because an article may not be purposed for the purpose that you want. It may be a general article, but if you purpose it to what you want the students to absorb and to conclude, Chat GPT or some other AI can do that for you. Other than that, you can have somebody do that manually. So anyway, just a suggestion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ken. And I have additional question, Laura. Could you share with us your presentation? Yeah, and I will send it to our teachers and volunteers if it's possible.
Okay, I have one activity to do with you. If you have time, I will share with you one short activity that we can do.
Yeah, I think yes.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can. Okay. So if you want, I would like you just to make a reflection about what I was talking about in about 15 minutes. If you finish in advance, it's okay. If you need some time, it's okay too. I would like you to have a look to this image here in A and this image here in B that are represented to different learning situations. And I would like you to describe 3 features of each. So 3 features that you see here and 3 features that you have here. And then to think about by which of these strategies have you been mostly educated since kindergarten? And then which of these strategies do you mostly apply to teach your students? And then for those that are teaching, maybe as there is someone in the audience that is not teaching, for those that are teaching, if you think that your didactic method needs a change or not, maybe you think it's not so, I mean, if you have the feeling, because to have the decision to change, you need to make a diagnosis, and as I told you, that you have to read literature about what are you doing and so on. But if you have the feeling that you need a change or not, so if you are willing, so I will leave this in the screen. So it is my time is 11:14, so it is 5:40, right, in your place. So let's say 10 minutes or something like that. So 10 minutes to 6 is okay?
I think it's okay.
Okay.
And after that, we have one more question in our chat.
Okay. Yes, we will comment. After that, for those that want to share what they think about this activity, we can talk about that.
I think if somebody to finish early, you can just let us know. Okay. Yeah, we have hands from Rosemary.
Well, and can we apply this method to primate? Can I answer them right now, or?
Do you want me to answer? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Laura, I think our participants already finished.
So, what to someone is there someone that want to share what they think about this activity? What you're
I see hand from Rosie. Yeah.
Yeah. So in the first scenario, like words just came to mind. So like Rose, isolation, feeling lost, versus scenario B where there was engagement, expansion, and teamwork. And then for question 1, it was definitely A. For question 2, unfortunately, it's A as well. But 3, yes, I've always known my methods need to change and they have been evolving. I've been incorporating more physical movement. Now with this new strategy and understanding how to use it now, I can layer that in now with my students.
Thank you. I can share with you in this platform also some papers about cooperative learning. So you can have this and you can find out more also. But I think the most important one I can share with you in this platform. Concerning the question in the message, I think you cannot apply the very same proposal that I told you we were applying to the university level, because you have to adapt it to your level of education, let's say primary or secondary school, whatever you are teaching. But of course, I'm sure that you can design activities for your student based on scientific thinking and cooperative learning. You can do it for sure. The only thing that you have to do is just to design the activities according to the age of your students and according to the aim you have of learning. This is very important. Because when you define the aim, what you want to get after the teaching and learning experience with your student, this give you clarity about the activities you have to design for your student. I don't know if I answer your question, the one that asked in the message. Is there someone else that want to share this, what they think about this activity, the thoughts? Okay. Okay, I will stop sharing the. So, if there is someone else that want to say something, share the experience or comments? No. Okay, so I will share with you in the message the publication, and I find out several links that you can have a look to them of strategies to develop with to promote scientific thinking in children, but there are a lot of more of them, so there is something that you can have a look to this. So let me some few minutes that I found out.
And also, if somebody want to add something about your experience on this topic, you also can do it now.
Ah, ¿se ve? No. Did you see the
Yeah,
link?
I see file on the chat.
Or maybe I can send you to you, Alexandra,
Yeah, of
and you
course.
can. Huh?
Of course. Yeah,
I
you can send me by mail or by WhatsApp, and I will share this
I
file
will send
with
you the links
everybody.
here.
Yeah, because this not a file, it's like a picture.
Ah, I see, which is the problem.
Yeah, it's just a picture.
No, yes.
I can't copy.
Okay. Let me see if all of them is like that. You can realize why I'm not familiar with technology.
Sometimes it happens. Everything okay. And every day we learn something new with technology.
Let's see if this one was copied, okay, or not. No, it's the same. All of them are the same.
Yeah, it's also a big picture. Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, but anyway, you put just you have to write in the Google Scholar. I recommend Google Scholar to search for information. So for scientific information, it's better just to do it in Google Scholar. Search for
Laura, we have one more question on
okay.
our chat. Yeah.
So if you type in Google Scholar, search for activities to promote scientific thinking in children, you will find out a lot of information there. And also you can do it also in Google, directly in Google. If you search, you will find out all the links that I wanted to give you. So, Laura, you are a researcher. No, I'm not. I am a researcher in cell biology, specifically biology of reproduction. It was my field of study. But I have been a professor in the university for some 40 years almost. And I did during this academic life capacitation in research education. But this was our first experience just setting up a research in education. There is something important that I want to tell you. What happened to us during those 20 years that we were teaching according to the traditional method. Of course, we were changing our activities and proposal for the student, but the way we changed it was according to something like this. Oh, I think that this year the students did not was well the activity that we gave to them. Maybe next year we have changed this part of this activity for next year. So it was not something systematical. So to have better results or to evaluate if your change is good or not for your student, it is advisable that you perform or test your new proposal according to the educational research. Since I am not educational research, that's why I contact or put in contact with the people in the Department of Education of my faculty that they are scientists in education. So these people is very willing usually. I'm sure that you have a university nearby your place that they have educational researcher there, and they will be very willing to help you to make a design of this about just to try to change what you want to change, how can you change, and then when do you have the design, just test it, because it's much better if you validated this procedure according to the scientific method in education. Scientific method in education is rather different from that of cell biology, for instance. So it's because it belongs to the social science, the methodology, the scientific methodology. So it's different. At least it's different for me because I come from a field different, but maybe for you it's not so different because you are teachers, so you are more or less familiar with the social science than me. So which is the other? I did graduation in science and now I want to do research. Oh, I'm so glad about this. If my talk stimulated you to do this, I'm so happy because, you know, why, I ask myself why professors do not do this in the university. Because professor here in my university and all over the world, because there are publications that is saying what I'm going to say to you right now. Because when they, for instance, in my case, that I was a researcher in the cell biology field, when my colleagues, my peers evaluate my CV, they gave marks to my what I did in the scientific field, right? But what I did in education, they do not assign mark. So it has no value. So, and it demands a lot of effort to do this kind of research. So that's why people in the university does not involve in make improvement in education, because it's easier for them just to study the lecture and give the lecture, and then I forget about that. No, so it's much easier to do this than to do this design of to design a new proposal, to test it, and so on, and to design the activities that I mentioned. It's a lot of work that you have to do. So before being with the student, you have a backstage work with the other team of professors to prepare the activity for the student. So I think that there is a need in education in all levels, the professors be involved with the methods they are applying. So it's, I think, again, I'm so happy if you feel that you need to be a researcher in education. This could be great if most of you try to do it in this way.
Thank you, Amir. Yeah, thank you, Amir, for your question. And thank you, Laura, for your answers. We have just a few minutes. So, yeah, if you want to add something or...
I will send you right now, just before the paper. Just a minute. Here you have one. And let me see. Did you receive it, Alexandra?
Yeah. I received all files. Yeah, and I will send everything to our participants.
Okay, the second one, the first one I sent you is the one that we published, but the second one would be of your interest, I think, because it has a pretty comparison between the traditional teaching method and the other one based on scientific thinking for children. So maybe this would be useful for you, and you will find out the references there that are related to this topic, and you will find out much more literacy in the reference list.
Okay, I hope all this information will be very interesting and helpful for all our participants. And if you will have ideas for next meeting for teachers and volunteers,
Okay.
you are welcome to send me a message, and I try to help prepare. So
Okay. Okay, so thank you. I'm so happy to after being a professor for so many years, I am retired, but I still feel the need to give. Education is a given. And it's love also. If you do not love the other one, you will not teach nobody. So and I think that's why I feel so willing to participate in this kind of talk if it is helpful for you. Of course, you can also give my contact, Alexandra. I can put also my mail here if you have any further question. Maybe sometimes after we you can raise some questions. I want to see if I'm reading well. Okay, you have my contact there.
Yeah, I see your email. Yeah.
Any of you can write to me, and I will be willing to help whatever you want. We can arrange another talk and whatever. So thank you very much.
Good chance to cooperate.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and then thank you for all participants.
mm-hmm.
Thank you, Laura, again. Thank you, colleagues. And I hope see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
you. How many attendees do we have, Alexandra?
We had 45 participants.